Hey guys, how are ya? Doing okay? Well, it is a gorgeous fall day here today. I apologize if there's any background wind noise or anything like that. Decided I'm going to share my salsa recipe. I was asked for it. I made it the other day and it just turned out fantastic. My litmus test for my recipes, anything I ever make, is my daughter and my son-in-law. They're both pretty particular about certain things. And I raised my daughter to not be afraid to tell me if she didn't like something. I never forced any foods on her because that was done to me as a child and I absolutely hated it. So if she says it's good, then it's good. So the day that I made this, she wasn't feeling the greatest. And when I gave her the jar, she said, I'll try a bite, but that's probably all I'm gonna have and I'll let you know how it is, because I'm not feeling too good. About 2 hours later, I received this text message. So I think she liked it. Pretty sure. Can't be too sure. So this recipe has been cut in half. I will leave the full recipe in the description, but the recipe that I'm doing today I've cut in half because I only have the smaller food processor. I don't have a big one yet, which actually worked out well because the first half of the recipe that I made I gave to my daughter. This half is for Mama to enjoy. So just keep that in mind as I'm going through this. This is a halved version of the recipe that I'm leaving in the description. You could probably make this in a blender or like a Vitamix. So we're gonna need ripe tomatoes. These are straight out of my garden. I'm going to core these and leave the skins on, but I am going to cut off any bad parts on the skin, bad spots, anything like that, which there aren't a whole lot. We'll need some garlic, a lime, which this thing is rock hard because it's been sitting out, so I don't know if it's gonna be okay. If not, I have lemons in the fridge and I'll use those. I'm sure it'll be okay. We need salt, cumin, a little bit of sugar. You're gonna need some diced chilies. These are not in the can that they came in because, as I said, I made half the recipe first for my daughter. So these are what's left over from that initial batch that I made. And one of the secret ingredients, again, it's not in the original can because I already made half the recipe, is the recipe calls for crushed tomatoes, and I used fire roasted crushed tomatoes, organic. I can't remember the brand right offhand. I'll leave that in the comments in the description as well. But so that's this right here. That's the half of the can. Jalapenos. Gotta have the jalapenos. And a red onion. And again, it's half of a red onion that I already used in the previous version. So let's get started. Okay. I know, I'm short. I'm actually not short. I'm actually 6 feet tall, but wheelchair and all. Just gonna start by coring these are garden fresh tomatoes, but you don't have to have garden fresh. I just happened to finally have my own garden this year, so I'm super proud of it. And I'm just loving being able to harvest my own vegetables that I grew myself, so I know what went into them. And there's just something so rewarding about using the food that you toiled over and grew to make your own food. I don't think that can be matched with anything else. So I'm just gonna quarter these just to get them small enough to get into the food processor and not take up too much room because it's not very big. We'll start with those. One more here. All right, get those in there. A little garlic, just a couple of cloves. A lot of salsa recipes actually call for cilantro, but my family has the soap gene, which, if you're unfamiliar with that, it's a gene that causes cilantro to taste like soap. So anytime I've ever had anything with cilantro in it, four-wheelers. Hopefully you can't hear them. I know I can. Doesn't bother me, but when I'm trying to make a video, it's a little bit of a different story. It's just my neighbor kids out having fun on a Saturday. Anytime I've had anything with cilantro in it, it ends up tasting like soap. And until I knew the reason behind it, I was very confused. I always just thought, how did they get soap, into this particular dish? Turns out they weren't putting soap in it. It's my genes. And my daughter has it as well, so I just leave cilantro out. However, if you like cilantro and it doesn't taste like soap for you, darn it, I just dropped that clove on the floor. You can obviously put cilantro on this as well. So I'm just going to use 2 smaller jalapenos. I love jalapeno, so. Hopefully that four-wheeler isn't coming on too loudly. There's no way for me to tell right now. So again, I'm just doing a rough chop of the jalapenos. I am removing the membranes and seeds. Those are the hot part. And so if you want to leave those in, if you want it hotter, obviously you can leave them in. I just try not to make it too ungodly hot. I like spicy food, but I also just like to enjoy the flavor, especially on something homemade. So I don't tend to make my salsas super hot. Okay, so I shut the window, one of my windows anyway. Hopefully that'll lessen the four-wheeler noise a little bit. So we're gonna want about 1.5 teaspoons of sugar. But I like to have a little sweetness in my salsa. We're also going to want about 1.5 teaspoons to 2 teaspoons of cumin. That should be good. A little bit of salt. I like it a little bit on the saltier side, so I'm just going to do a full teaspoon. This is a half, but so these are halves, so I just put in a full teaspoon. Lime juice. Let's see if we can get any juice out of this. Probably not, because it is hard as a rock. Pretty sure it all dried out. Yeah, I don't think we're getting anything out of this. We'll see. Sometimes even if the outside is dried up, the inside still has juice in it. So there's some juice coming out of it. Juice from a whole lime. And there's enough juice, I think, coming out. Yep, there we go. Don't believe limes, y'all. Sometimes they can be rock hard on the outside, but still have plenty of juice on the inside. I usually do this on my lap. So doing it up here on the counter like this is actually quite difficult for me. But we'll make it work. I'm going to pull this down here just while I do this part. I know you guys won't be able to see it very well, but it's breaking my back to do it up there. There is tons of juice coming out of this. So, should be good to go. Okay, and can't forget the onion. I just about did forget the onion. So there's already some chopped up pieces in here from the previous batch. I'm going to throw those in. I'm not going to use this entire onion because it's rather large. I do love red onion, but I don't want a whole ton in my salsa. So I'm just going to use about that much. Enough that will fit in the process. We're getting down to the wire here, y'all. But don't worry, it'll work out. It worked out last time, so make it work this time. Alright, now my base, the motor, is behind me. I'm just going to put this lid on, go back there, and pulse this up. Alright, we're going to make sure it's on chop, and we're just going to pulse it up. fairly chunky because I am going to be adding more to it and I don't want it to lose its chunkiness when I do that. All right, I have moved you guys over here so that you can see. I've pulsed it just enough so that it's still chunky. And now we're going to add more liquid items to it. So I didn't want it to get too like a picante sauce. I want it to be more like a salsa. So I only pulsed it and left it really chunky because we're going to do it again when we add the other ingredients. I also apologize that this video is probably pure chaos, four-wheelers and all, but I wanted to get this batch made and I also wanted to get it on video. So learning as I go here, guys. Okay, so here we have what was left of the chili, can of chilies. Hi, Petey. She scared me. Hi, baby. From the previous batch that I made. Okay, we're just gonna add those in. And then we also have, you can't come on my lap right now, honey. Almost cooking. We also have what's left over from the fire roasted can of tomatoes, crushed tomatoes. I was trying to do it so you guys could see it and I ended up spilling. Which is fine too. Clean it up. Alright, so we're going to pop that lid back on and we're going to chop it up a little bit again. And that should be good. And now I'm going to transfer it into a large mason jar, put it in the fridge, and let it sit overnight. Tomorrow will be the day that I get to enjoy it the most. I personally like it with just some chips and salsa, whatever your favorite chip is, but I do use it when I make other dishes as well, such as I make a Mexican lasagna. I will do a video on that as well because that's really good. I also make a dip, a like layered dip, using this salsa with it. That's very good. I will show that as well. If you guys make this, let me know. Let me know what you thought of it. And I know it's kind of corny, but if you could subscribe, that would be great. I'm really trying to grow this channel. Give me a little thumbs up if you liked the video, as chaotic as it was. And I'll see you guys in the next one.